Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Today we have an incredible guest here, my friend Carlos. He's a military veteran, a real estate investor, and a coach who is making some serious waves in this industry at only 27 years old. Carlos has built a thriving real estate business. He's closed over $14 million in volume in his career. It's generated over $500,000 in profit in just 2 years without a real estate license, background, or a marketing budget. So currently right now, his journey is nothing short of inspiring. He was medically retired from the Air Force in 2021. And Carlos transitioned from working as an electrician to achieving massive success in real estate. So on top of that, which is crazy, with also raising 5 beautiful children, 2 of whom were born from teenage pregnancies with his wife, proving that faith, resilience, and determination can overcome any obstacle. So Carlos, my friend, without further ado, welcome to the show, and I'm super excited to talk with you today. Why don't you just introduce to the audience who you are, your background? I know I covered a bunch of stuff already, but I'll just throw it back to you and let you take it from there, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for having me on. First and foremost, I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you. Yeah, man. So, humble beginnings. Like you had mentioned, the 2 kids. It's from teenage pregnancy. I was actually 14. My son was born. 16. My daughter was born. Wow. I grew up in poverty. So, everything around me was all negative. As you can imagine. Mm-hmm. So with the humble beginnings, and then going through my own little struggles, dealing with street life and that kind of stuff from like 12 to 16. I wasn't until my second kid that like woke me up. I'm a Christian, which it's funny your name is Christian, but I'm actually a Christian. Now I wasn't always, but looking back, I know that God was using those teenage pregnancies as reasons to pull me away from what I was doing and do something greater, which drove me to the military, right? So that's how I got into the military, and because I wasn't somebody that bled blue, was like, yeah, America type thing, like that wasn't me, but like I needed a way out of the streets, right? So I used that to get out like a lot of people do. But then, like you said, I got medically retired in 2021, had a wrist injury, 2 surgeries, full reconstruction, couldn't repair me, random phone call, and within 6 weeks I was out. So I fell on my face, financially. And Grant Cardone was the person that introduced me into real estate. Like a lot of people out there probably see him everywhere, right? Grant is like the guru of all gurus in a sense, right?
Yeah.
But I joined his real estate multifamily like blueprint boot camp, whatever it was called, back in like the end of 2021, and gave him my last $1,000 I had in my name. Got his multifamily course, started going into that, and then I was like, okay, well I'm still broke as heck, right? I started driving Grubhub after I got the service because for whatever reason I couldn't land a job, right? My wrist was destroyed, so I couldn't be an electrician anymore, right? That's what I knew. I was a journeyman. Right. So I tried out to get some project management jobs, moved from Northern California to Tennessee, and could not land a job at all, dude. So fell on my face completely financially, torched my credit score, went down to like a 400, like living on personal debt I had obtained from loans and credit cards, taking care of my 4 kids. It was terrible. But that led me into real estate, right? And then I realized I need a network and I need or a net worth to do multifamily, and didn't have either one of those either. So back at square
Yeah.
one, hit my knees in the closet, like literally in tears, like I don't know what I'm going to do in my life right now.
Mhm.
But I got to do something, and that's where I found out what wholesaling was.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Yeah.
Man, I'm a
So
firm believer that God puts those experiences in your lap for a reason, right? I mean, you ultimately would not be here if that was not your story, right? And I do believe that also, those hardships form you into the man that you're supposed to be, right? And the fact of the matter is that you were punched in the mouth so many times through that, just hearing you speak and you're still here is just a testament of who you are, right? And also, I mean, let's just talk about this, man. I mean, you were able to close in your career, I mean, over 14 million in volume and generate over $500,000 in profit without a license, real estate background, marketing budget. Where do you think that came from? Do you think just the drive of just, again, being hit in the mouth and just being like, you know what, I just have to figure this out. I have no other choice. My back's up against the wall. Or how did that come from, man? Why don't you walk us through that process and how you were able to achieve that?
yeah, so I'll say definitely being punched out so many times, and
Mhm.
my whole life I've had to overcome everything, right? Like
Yeah.
since a young child, you can imagine being a teenager with kids, like two of them, right? I had two
Yeah.
kids where I can't even drive. I was riding the city buses with strollers, right? Like just always like just going through that, dude, and just like, man, like there's a better life out here, and I got to find it, right? So when I
Yeah.
found out what real estate was and wholesaling in particular, I followed the traditional route everybody else does, get a list and cold call.
Mm.
And I started cold calling, and I was like, this sucks. Like, I'd rather like go find a job than sit here and cold call these homeowners that are hanging up with me, don't want to talk to me. So about 2 weeks went by. I talked to a couple hundred people, had no
Mhm.
traction, and I was like, there got to be a better way. Like, there has to be a better way. I don't have money for to put TV ads on like people are talking about, and Bennett sides I see them, but I don't even know where to find those. How do I even get those made?
Mhm.
That kind of stuff. So that's why I found out working with agents, and then the MLS was like, wait, there's people out there that already have their hand up to sell. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to go out here and call people that don't even have any interest, right? That's the biggest thing is a lot of direct to seller. All they want to know is what's the most you'll give me, and then before you know it, they're like, nah, I don't want to sell, right? So you end up wasting so much time compared to if you're doing inbound marketing, which what I'm getting into now,
Mhm.
with money, but if you don't have the money, that's not an option.
Mm.
So it's like, why not go over the lowest hanging fruit and make the best of it? So that's what I did. And that's how I was able to close 14 million was, 98% of my business was on the MLS. The other 2% was
Wow.
from agent outreach, which
Wow.
didn't happen until like year two of my business. So like year one was strictly MLS. I mean, I went from 2 weeks of cold calling homeowners, hated it, like was like, I'm done with this. 2 weeks on Zillow, I made
Mhm.
5 grand. And I was like, oh, this is way easier than that, right? So I just
Yeah.
kept doing it, and I just kept doing it, and before you
Mhm.
know it, right, I just got more efficient. I got better with speaking, my communication skills got better. I got better working with agents. I started closing deals with
Yeah.
them, and then guess what happens? A lot of people think of wholesaling as transactional, when really it's a really just like everything else. It's based on your relationships.
100%.
So when I started closing deals, the law of reciprocation started happening, and people started calling me back like, "Hey, Carlos, I got one coming up," and then it was just like left and right. Like it started coming to me, and I was like, "Whoa, I have an inbound channel here that I'm not paying for, but it's all happening based on the fruits of my labor."
Mm.
So between the relationships from agents bringing me stuff and me continuously out there hunting the MLS and just being a sharpshooter and knowing exactly like my numbers, right? A lot of people will get their numbers off, but my first deal I sold, I became best friends with the contractor in that deal.
Wow.
So he helped me out with construction costs, realistic numbers, what do we really need to be at? And me learning all of that so early, man, it just like I go in to deal with so much confidence. Like everything is built on your confidence. And they can also feel that on the other side of the phone, right?
Yeah.
When you're on the phone, you're confident about your offer or what you're submitting or whatever that the other person has automatic confidence in you. So that's really how it happened and transpired. And before I knew it, I was doing, 5, 8 deals a month. Some deals would be like $2,000, right? My biggest on market deal I did was $40,000 in one deal.
Wow.
So it was like, and people again, one of the biggest things people talk about is my buyer is not going to want it because it's on market. And again, pulls me back to relationships. If you have a strong relationship with your buyer, they don't care where it comes from as long as they can make money. Like that's it. So that's really how like my journey had started, and really what I teach as well now is, hey, there's so much ways to do this, and it's so easy. Like just get good.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
No, man, I love the fact that you touched on all those things because it's so important. It all goes back to ground zero, right? Relationships. If you just focus on being able to build authentic and real relationships with people and deliver value, you are going to win long term in this business, right? And if you're not just focused on the dollar so much and you're just focused not on the transactional aspect of things, just having conversations. But something I really want to touch on too is just you found your niche and you consistently just put in your reps to become a master at it. And I think, as you know, man, in this business, there's cold calling, there's text blasting, there's voicemail drops, there's Google PPC. They all work, right? But a lot of times people will start a new process or a new marketing channel and they'll blame the leads, right? They immediately say, oh, they're just not working. This is not sustainable. But then you realize that it's most of the time the story, it's not the leads. It's just you haven't put enough time to see the fruits of your labor, right?
Yep.
And you put in that time to be able to do that. So I'm curious now, with the stuff you've learned and have been able to develop now, you're coaching now, right? So kind of just walk us through that. I mean, the people that you're coaching right now, like what can they expect? What do they get out of that? What are you teaching them? Why don't you walk us through that?
Yeah, so I unintentionally fell into coaching, right? I joined some other mentorships and you probably heard of like Pace Morby, Jamil Damji, those guys. So I joined Astro Flipping, back in 2022 is when I joined that. And I just made a name for myself just from closing deals. I got to get on the call and talk about a deal closing. Everybody would come to me like, hey, man, can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? And I helped like dozens of people in that community get their first deal. And then there came an opening one day and they're like, hey, we're going to nominate, student leaders to run their own coaching calls. And everybody voted me and my wife to coach them. And we're like, okay. And it was like totally for free, right? Like every week we do a call. It was totally for free. We gave everybody all the sauce. We comped their deals. We did everything. And people, again, were just closing stuff. And I was like, man, this is awesome. So me as a Christian, I'm like, well, I'm already got all these people I'm helping, financially. My favorite part about everything is mindset, like we talked about earlier. So I created a Christian entrepreneur group. I was like, hey, if you guys want to do this, come over here every Friday. We're going to meet. We're going to go over mindset, spirituality. Like, I'm not a religious person, by the way. Like, I'm just a non-denominational Christian. I believe in the gospel. I'm not saying you got to do X, Y, or Z to make it to heaven. No, like, I don't believe in all that stuff. But I bring people in and, like, shape their mindset because I've noticed when you have a high mindset and you have a high drive, your success is just inevitable. So that's how I fell into coaching. And with me doing that for free, I got exiled from that community. So they like banned me from everything. They're like, because I was helping so many people. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this on my own. Right.
Yeah.
And when I started doing that, again, the same people, they just started coming over to me and then word of mouth started happening and people started coming to me for help. And I was like, look, this is what I have to offer you. Right. I'm not here to make a ton of money. Like my coaching program is not $10,000. Like it's half of that. And what you get with me is every single process, everything you need to have mentally, and all of the skill sets you need, right? You need the mindset, skill set, and tool set. I give you all of them, right? I help you with your mindset. I give you the skill set that I've developed, right? You save years of experience by literally finding a good mentor, right? And then I give you the tool set, right? I give you my CRM, right? I give you all of my automations, all of my dispo, all of my acquisitions, and I give you videos on how, if you want to do it yourself, this is how you set it up, right? So I give them literally everything they need. And then on top of that, I run a challenge, happens monthly. Right now we're in day 4, called the Master Your Market Challenge. So helping people understand, how do you actually master a market, right? Because people say I'm in the Florida market. It's like, okay, well, what Florida market are you in? Because I can tell you that Jacksonville, Orlando, and Tampa are completely different. And don't even let me get started on Miami. Like Miami is a whole other beast,
Yeah.
right? So like you're really not a master of your market if you just claim a state. Like
Mhm.
I made all that money in Jacksonville. Like this is my market that I claim. This is my market that I've had my success in. I branched out to Tampa and Orlando, and I found out really quick it's not the same, right? Mentalities are different there. Agents are different there. Buyers are different there. Numbers are different there, right? But people don't understand that when they're getting the business. They just think, oh, I got to get a contract and I'm fine.
Mhm.
It's like, no, you have to know the things about it. So when you're working with me, you're going to get the skill set, the mindset, and the tool set, but you're also going to be able to develop the mastery. And like you had mentioned earlier about mastering your craft, like if you want to get good at anything, you got to master it, right? There's a reason why the old terminology, like I'm an electrician, right? The highest level of electrician is called a master electrician, right?
Mhm.
It goes the same thing with anything you do. If you're going to be a jack of all trades, you're never going to have the success that you can have. You got to be a master at what you're doing. So that's really what you get when you work with me and when I coach you. Now, am I selling you a coaching program? Absolutely not. Because I can tell you that I don't even accept everybody. Like if I have some negative Nancy's that want to come to me, they're like, hey, I'll give you $5,000 today. I'm like, no. I care more about my name than I care about you coming here being negative and blaming me for your reason for not succeeding.
Mm.
So I'm not one of those gurus, and I do not do any paid marketing on it either. It's all word of mouth.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Wow. So no paid marketing, all word of mouth. I
All
love
word of
that.
mouth.
I love your delivery on setting the expectation as well. You're very selective. And I think that a lot of people need to develop that trait as well, as being very selective on the things that they know they don't want to do, but they do them anyways, right? Or accept the money and then you realize that it's not the right reasons, right? You have to really go with where you feel and work with the people that are obviously going to be in the best interest for both, right? And especially respecting your time as well, right? And I love the fact that and you know this is so true. There are so many people out there, and this is no shade thrown to anybody. Everybody's in their selective and courses, whether it's mentorship, masterminds, whatever it is. But a lot of the focus isn't really built on up front on helping you develop yourself mentally and spiritually, right? A lot of it's just take quick action, make as much money as possible. All your problems will be erased.
Yeah.
And you find that, as you know, obviously, the more you start to scale, the more you start to develop, more money, this and this and this, problems get a little bit harder to deal with. That's just the name of the game, right? And I think that if you forget about yourself in that process and you forget about also the people, like what are you doing this for, right? Like for you, you have a family to feed. And I know that's what's most important to you, right?
Absolutely.
And you're going to live and die by that. And it's like you have to remember your why on like why you're doing this. What do you want to get into the business for,
Hmm.
right? And a lot of the times it's to make money, but it should be no, I want to help people, I want to make an impact, and I want to build something long lasting for the next generation to come, and ultimately just to be in the history book in your own world. So I'm curious, man. I mean, Do you agree with that? And also, I want to get and talk about maybe fear, right? Many people hesitate to even start this business, or let's say just work with you in general, because of fear, right? Oh, I don't know if it's going to work out. Oh, I've tried this thing in the past before and it just wasn't exactly what, I was sold on. You know, how did you push past, all the doubts and, everything that you've been through, and just you took action on everything, right? I mean, your back was against the wall, but is there any advice you could give to somebody that's in that position and what they should do?
Yeah, I'm happy you actually brought this up, on the fear, because I tell all my students that fear is an acronym, right? It's
Mm,
false evidence appearing real. And when you have fear, you only have two ways you can go about it. You can either have fearfulness and curl up in the corner, or you can have fear and have courage to keep on going. And when
mm,
it comes out to the point of people being sold on something and thinking it's not what they've been sold on, well, you have to ask yourself the question: has somebody else done it? And if they've done it, why are they special and you're not? Because
mm,
maybe it's not the matter of how you do it, but it's a matter of who you learn it from or who you are doing it with, right? Dan Solomon has a great book called Who Not How, right? Everybody wants to focus on the how part, but in reality, it's the who. You got to figure out who you need to be around, who you need to learn from, who you need to help, right?
mm,
Not every seller needs cash. So you got to know what to give them, right? Maybe they're in a high equity or a low equity situation. You're like, maybe this is a good deal. They just bought it. They have no equity, but maybe we could do a creative deal and it's going to cash flow $400 or $500 a month. Like, let's
mm,
do a creative deal, right? Maybe this is an ovation deal. Maybe this is just, maybe that's its own free and clear, and we're going to try to help them save taxes and we're going to do a seller finance, right? Like, you have to know who you're working with and in what way you're going to help them. Like you said too about serving people.
mm,
Again, being in the military, one of the things that I had was, integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. That's our core values in the Air Force.
mm,
But that goes right into business, right? Being a person of integrity and serve before you serve yourself. Like, don't just think about the shiny object syndrome everybody's throwing in your face. Like look at this check for 30 grand. Like, you can do this too overnight. You can, with a cell phone and a laptop. Next month, you're going to be firing your boss. It's like, is that reality? Not for everybody. People are coming from all different places in the world and they have to relearn things,
mm.
right? So it might take you 6 months compared to somebody it takes 2 weeks.
That's right.
Also by your will, your determination, right? So my thing back to the people that have the fear and are scared is like, look, if they've done it, you can too. The only question is, how long are you going to let it work on you before it starts working for you? And if
Mm,
you're willing to withstand that pain and that grit of it working on you and making you a better person, becoming the being you need to be, then you'll be able to do the things you can do. And guess what happens after that? Naturally, you have the thing you want, right?
mm,
And even just to break it down a little bit further, when it comes to the money you make, I never go into a deal and say I'm making 15 grand on every deal, right? I'll take a 500, I'll take a 2,000, because it's not about the money that I'm making, but the problem that I'm solving. So I'm going to get paid based upon the
yeah.
value that I'm bringing and the amount of room that I have. Now, can you get creative with it? 100%. I can come to a deal right now and say I'm making 5 grand. And then what happens? I know my construction budget. I know my buyers and how they work. And I say, hey, dude, you can probably save 10 grand if you do this, right? And I go back to the seller and I say, you were okay with, netting 345. And like, yeah, as long as I can net 345, I'm good, right? And I'm at 350. And they're like, okay, well, I can save my buyer 10 grand. Hey, dude, will you buy it at, let's say, 360? He's like, yeah, dude, all day I'll buy 360. I just turned 5 to 15, right? But I got creative in how I made my money instead of saying that I need to make 15 and then I come at my offer
Mm.
at 330 to my seller, right? So it it just depends on how your outlook is, your mindset is with, and the way you perceive things.
100%. Man, Carlos, you are a powerhouse, my friend. You are a powerhouse. I honestly wish we had another hour to speak on this stuff, because there's so much other stuff that I want to get into. So we definitely need to have you back on. So stay
Yeah, I'm
tuned for
down
that
for
one.
it, man.
But yeah, for Carlos, in the meantime, where can people find you, man? You have so much to offer in this, and you're incredible. So where do people need to go to work with you?
Yeah, so you can go to carlosbolton.com, and that's my website. It's like 99% done. There's a couple of buttons on there you're going to click and be like, hey, it didn't take me to the product page, but if you scroll down, you'll find the product and things like that.
Cool.
In there, I have a link to a free community that I have, for Christian entrepreneurs. If you're not a Christian, that's fine too. We welcome everybody with open arms. Like I said, we're not religious, so you have all kinds of people of different religions, Muslims, Mormons, Baptists, Catholic, all kinds of people are in there. So we're almost at 300 members in that. You can go to mastermarketchallenge.com to get registered for the next challenges coming up. And then you can find me on Instagram at carlos._.bolton. And my YouTube channel is Business with the Boltons. So at Business with the Boltons, you'll find me, or Biblical Business with the Boltons as well will come up as well. So that's where you can find me, and I'd love to meet you guys.
Awesome. I love it. Carlos, thanks so much for your time today, and thank you for jumping on and just sharing this wealth of knowledge to the audience. I definitely gained a lot of it. I know they are too, but just wish you nothing but the best, man, in the future and for your family as well, my friend. Hope to continue to see you thrive. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Of course, absolutely. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I know I did. And as always, my friends, we will see you on the next episode. Take care.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.